everyone, what's up? AB Squad, this is your boy Abbas. Welcome back to the family, welcome back to AB React. So guys, we are back and checking out another interesting video from Douglas Murray, and if you know you are ready to do this with me, do well to smash your like button, join the family, join AB React by clicking on your subscribe button, of course, on your notification bell, so you don't miss out whenever I upload a video. If you have a recommendation, suggestion, guys, always do well to leave them right there in the comment section. All right, AB Squad, let's do this.
Now, in many ways, California serves as a warning to much of the US of what can happen when the Democrats enjoy one-party rule, when they can run amok. It is the bluest of blue states and has embraced just about every far-left policy, including DEI madness, even in the fire department. Let's have a listen here to the Los Angeles Fire Department Assistant Chief, Kristen Larson, talking about the importance of diversity, equity and inclusion.
You want to see somebody that responds to your house, your emergency, whether it's a medical call or a fire call, that looks like you. It gives that person a little bit more ease, knowing that somebody might understand their situation better. Is she strong enough to do this? Or you couldn't carry my husband out of a fire, which my response is, he got himself in the wrong place if I have to carry him out of a fire.
He got himself in the wrong place. That would be funny, Douglas, if it was a Babylon Bee sketch, but sadly it's all too real.
Absolutely, and that's including at the very top of the fire department in LA, at the head of the LA Fire Department. If you even now look at the website that she has, her bio, it's all about the fact that she's a diverse woman, that she's a proud member of the LGBTQIA plus community, and that her priority is diversity. The numbskull we just heard from there, also in the fire department, I hope very much that LA voters and others take note of this. In the end, these people who talked the diversity talk didn't know what they were doing in the real world. Mm-hmm. Actually, it's not about somebody who looks like you coming to your house. It's about somebody coming to your house. It's about somebody saving your house from burning down. I spoke to residents of LA earlier this week whose home and all their belongings had been burnt to nothing and has had their whole neighborhood. And they said to me, not one fire truck showed up, not one, Rita. Wow. Now, if I was a resident there and I'd heard this guff for years about how important it is that a diverse woman of color should come and how empowering it is that a lesbian is head of a... No, you just want competent fire authorities. And that is exactly what LA has not had. And we'll see if the appropriate lessons are learned from that or not. But this goes right up to the top. It's Governor Newsom who is doing this nonsense. It's the local mayor who is doing this nonsense, the heads of the fire service who are doing this nonsense. And in the end, somebody has to be responsible for the fact that there was no water. Somebody has to be responsible for the fact that there was no water coming out of the fire hydrants. Somebody has to be responsible for all this. And Governor Newsom has been standing intermittently, as we can see there, in front of these fires, in front of these burned out buildings, talking about how we can all pull together and go forward and all of the usual inane nonsense. And the whole neighborhood's burned down and is still burning. I hope very much the residents who suffered from this realize that this stuff is not a joke, and things were always too late for this nonsense, and they're certainly too late for it now.
Like, seriously, I when I saw this, I thought it was a joke, or it was, you know, just a random post or a random video. I never knew that this actually happened for real in Los Angeles. I mean, I want to ask a question. How would these people do? How are they going to survive? And I know most people were able to escape. Some didn't. It's like, what actually led to this fire outbreak? What actually caused this fire outbreak? Because it was not just a normal fire outbreak we do see. And I mean, it literally burned all the houses, every single thing someone might have had. Like, I am so worried about these people. I actually felt pity for them, because how are they going to do? Where would they start from? Like, what is the government saying about this situation? Like, let me know, guys, in the comment section, what plans does the government have for them concerning this fire outbreak that happened, I think, few months ago.
Now, for many years under the Biden administration, we've seen white supremacy spoken of as the greatest threat facing America.
To single out as the most dangerous terrorist threat to our homeland is white supremacy.
And that divorce from reality worldview has, for many, many years, infected institutions like the Department of Justice, the FBI. How do you see that changing under Trump, particularly after the shock of the New Orleans terror attack on New Year's Day?
Well, a counter-terrorism and counter-extremism policy should be one of the most evidence-based policies in government. It should not be about pushing an ideology. It shouldn't be standing in front of a particular demographic and an electorate and saying, I've decided that X is the biggest threat. It should be based on what the biggest threats are. And, this whole thing of, that people like Biden for years have known that they'd get a sort of Democrat round of applause if they started talking about being against white supremacy. I mean, white supremacy is this thing where everyone's agreed that they don't want it or like it. And nobody in the mainstream in politics or anything like that is pushing for the KKK to have a resurgence. When there is the occasional wacko white supremacist, everybody's joined in condemnation of them. But what's different, of course, is that when it's somebody who's an Islamist, as we had a number of attacks in America and Europe over Christmas carried out by people who appear to be driven by Islamic extremism, those same people stop being evidence-based. In fact, they run away from evidence. They don't want to talk about that. Or we always get the thing of, this isn't the time to talk about it, and further down the line also isn't the time to talk about it. And actually, it turns out there's no time to talk about it. And I would just hope that there would be a realistic weighing up of the threats to the American homeland under the new administration, and weighing up those threats wherever they come from, and dealing with them wherever they come from. But we'll see. I mean, one of the things is that residues of administrations can last an awfully long time, particularly if they're of the left. They remain effectively in the trees and forests left behind by the retreating administration. And there will be whole structures in CIA, FBI, DHS, and others who will still be following the Democrat lead on this, even once the Republicans are back in. And that's one to really look out for, because it's one thing to have the policy. It's another thing to actually have departments and institutions of government that actually see it through.
And that, of course, happened during Trump's first term. So I think he's hopefully learned from that, and we're going to go scorched earth from day one. And if Kash Patel is there heading the FBI, I think you're going to see a little bit of that. But let's switch to the UK, where the Keir Starmer government seems to be more perturbed by the world's richest man, Elon Musk, shining a light on the grooming gang scandal than the fact that thousands of vulnerable girls were assaulted, were raped by mainly Pakistani Muslim men who were allowed for years to act with impunity due to political correctness. Douglas, we saw the rule of law, we saw common decency sacrificed in the name of community cohesion and cultural sensitivity. Has the UK now learnt its lesson? Could the grooming gang scandal happen again?
Oh, of course it could happen again, because the UK hasn't learned any lessons from it. And that's because, again, just like I was saying about institutions in America, in Britain, it's not just the two-tier policing system that Keir Starmer has overseen since coming into office. It's the fact that the police, local councillors, local councils, MPs, and others have all overseen this. And they've all overseen this. And it required, perhaps, Elon Musk and a few other high-profile accounts in America to pick up on this and say, oh, hang on, guys, what is it you've allowed to go on here? For people to actually realize again in Britain what this was, which was the biggest sexual crime carried out in modern British history, all not just under the noses of, but in front of the faces of all the relevant authorities. And, at the moment, the big grandstanding thing to do is to call for a full public inquiry into this. The truth is, there are plenty of public inquiries that have been taken place into these rape gangs, and nothing ever really changes that much because nobody asks answers which they don't want. Sorry, nobody asks questions rather that they don't want answers to, and the answers to this are. As I said in The Spectator this week, pretty straightforward, actually. They're that if a man is found to have been grooming, raping, gang raping, molesting women or underage girls, that person should go to a prison for a very long time. And if they have dual nationality, they should be chucked out of the UK. They should have their British nationality withdrawn, and they should be deported. Now, most of these men should be deported back to Pakistan, but the immigration system in Britain is so rotten that, as I mentioned again in The Spectator this week, a number of the men were released from prison early, used the time to appeal against their deportation, and used that time to give up their Pakistani citizenship so they could stay in the UK, because it takes so long to get people out of the UK. And in the end, nobody does get sent out of the UK. Oh, and then a couple of cases where people actually were able to be returned to Pakistan. Shock and horror, the Pakistani government didn't want more gang rapists in Pakistan, so they didn't receive them back. Well, any sensible government should say, you know what, Pakistan, we give you millions of pounds a year in foreign aid, as does our ally, the United States of America. You'll take your citizens back. You'll take them back. Otherwise, you can say bye-bye to any foreign aid or anything else. But none of that is coming from the government, and too little of it, in my view, is coming from the opposition either. They're all fixated on this. Let's have years of inquiries. Inquiries don't matter a damn when what happens is, at the end of it, the inquiry is shelved, the person who's done the inquiry is thanked, and nothing changes.
That was another good one from Douglas Murray. And guys, if you really enjoyed that video as much as I did, do well to smash the like button, join the family, join the react by clicking on your subscribe button, of course, on your notification bell, so you don't miss out whenever I upload a video. If you have recommendation, suggestion, guys, always do well to leave it right there in the comment section. Alright, I can't wait to see you in my next video. Until then, stay safe, stay blessed, and don't go away, don't touch that down, guys. Bye.